Hi, Crimson Landscape here. I had our team put together a different design for your backyard that was more colorful, more texture. Of course, will cost a bit more just because the plants that are generally more colorful, more texture, do have a higher price tag. Emptied this space out for a future garden, kept this space the same. Behind the pool, mixed in some bigger abelias. These are Canyon Creek abelias, really pretty color. Kept some grasses in here as space filler to make it full. Added a Mexican fan palm, some salvias, some catmint for color texture. Plus, these will bring in butterflies. The catmint has a really pretty smell to it. Almost smells like honey. Color guard yucca, giant liripe. I got some dwarf palmetto palms here. They're quite expensive at 3 gallon. I think they're about $50 a piece for 3 gallon. Not super fast growers, but it is of all palms. It's really cold hardy. The Mexican fan palm as well as a cold hardy palm. The other palms, the sago palms, pinto palms, those really just you're rolling the dice. The sago palms, with one that has kind of the big snow cone head looking palm, it just doesn't do well here. I treat it as a seasonal. You can drop it in a pot, but that's about it. Spireas in front, a couple flavors of spireas depending on which one you want. Really pretty flowers. It'll also bring in some butterflies as well, depending on the color you get. I think you mentioned some gravel here. We talked about that. Not a fan of it, just for the simple fact that I don't like closing in a pool. We like having grass on one side for especially if you have young kids to play. We could add something here, but it would almost look out of place because we could never match the border. So we'd have to use a different border like a steel. So we can add it if you want, but I'm not sure it makes sense from a design perspective. Added another Mexican fan palm to make sure they match as per your request. Side of the house, the spirea still remains the same. Daylilies, yucca, catmint again. A little bit repeat the theme. I really like catmint. Nice, pretty smell near a pool. Two standard shrubs, dwarf Yopon hollies, just to make sure we have that nice green color. These could be the Rose Creek abelia, a little bit smaller shrub here, nice pretty flower. Variegated liripe, and of course daylilies again. You can't go wrong with daylilies for a plant that's pretty easy to maintain, fairly cost effective. This is kind of followed an English country theme, and this is kind of a repeating pattern with mixed colors and textures. Holly ferns, great fern, variegated liripe, giant liripe, hostas. Hosta is in the hosta here, hosta here. The hostas are going to be during winter, they're going to die back. Then they'll bloom in the spring. Pretty hardy. They just, for almost half the year, there's nothing there. But for spring and summer, it's a nice, pretty plant. I probably have a dozen at my house. This looks nice and full. Just something to talk about when you go with something like this. So it's technically a perennial, but it will stay green all year. Will stay green all year. Should stay green all year. Will lay flat in the winter. It just lays flat. Doesn't look as pretty. Dies back in winter. Evergreen, dies back in winter. And the same. Should stay green, dies back in winter. Will turn a little bit brown in winter. So these are a little bit more expensive plants, but it meets the intent of having the pops of color, in almost like a English country wildflower bed. Let me turn it this way. Overhead view of the pool. Go front view of the pool. Okay. I had the team, drop in the plants in the back. I went with cost-effective plants, just as filler plants. This is just an example. We can go anywhere you want. This native gravel is going to be the cheapest ground cover. We sell a lot of the native gravel. It's just some spireas. Spireas don't have this bloom all year. They just bloom that way for a couple weeks, but the softwood just have them that way. Some pops of colors, just some filler throughout the space. It's just an example of what we can do. Not sure from a cost perspective how much this would add. Without a budget, it's kind of hard to guess, how much you want to spend. But at the end of the day, I would say that the end result is probably more important than saving, a few, maybe $1,000 difference in plants for going with this type of setup, the cost versus the original design. So let me know if you have any questions, provide feedback, and recommend a Zoom call if you want to make changes to either this design or the next time. If you're first time seeing this video and you're a person with any questions, you can reach out to us at crimsonlandscape.com.